Let me go over here to my channel and let's see your channel. Let's go to my channel. Let me go over here to my channel. All right, hold on. Got to turn the volume down. Sorry. Let's see your channel. Let's go. There we go. Okay, this is the video on how to style the hair. And first I have to share this link to Facebook. Copy. And let's paste and post. Okay, now I'm going to put you on the tripod. It's sitting right over here. And the camera's going to be plugged in, so we won't have to worry about... And that's plenty of light. You can actually see what I'm doing. I don't need those bright lights on for the camera, because the camera is very... pretty cool the way this is. Oops. Just got messed up here. Hold on. Feels like I'm a little far away. That's a little too much. Okay, you know what? Why don't I put this thing like right here? 2 people on already. Wow, man, you guys are fast tonight. I'm actually just moving the camera really close. You can see the fibers a little better. And since we're working on the hair, we don't need to see any of the real fine details in the paint job or any of that stuff tonight. But I don't have the lights on. So here's what I'm going to do. All right, first of all, whenever I style the hair, I look at the hair as an onion, all the hairlines. And what I want to do is peel these sections forward, all the way forward, because I'm going to be taking off, I'm going to be combing through the hair. As I do this, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, that's just a little bit of bulk air. Let's see what happens here when I get to this point. Yeah, that's sticking to the hair pretty good. Okay, so what I'm trying to get to is that very first layer. I'm not going to be able to pull it all forward because some of it did stick to the bottom of the base of the hair, which is cool. But what I'm going to do is I want to get to this first row of hair that I put on the bottom. That was the very first one. And we're going to start combing this out. And as you can see, this is already coming out in clumps, which is perfect because the hairline does not fall that close to the just make my pile of hair over here. Okay, that's the first row. I don't try to comb the whole thing out all on one big, because that's a lot of, it's trying to go through too much hair at once. So what we want to do now is we want to go down to the next layer, which is here. Come on. Now I'm not over pulling on this. I don't want to take all the hair off. I just want to get the real thick stuff off of there. All right, so we go to the next layer. And I'm starting to realize I got two layers combobbled here. There we go. Two layers overlapping each other there. Boy, stuff likes to stick to your hands. Okay, so what I want to do here is now I have this. Okay. All right, we're next to the next layer here. Wait a minute, did I go? I didn't get this whole side over here yet, did I? Yeah, I did. Okay. Next layer, and we're going to pull this back. We're going to leave that forward, leave this forward. A lot of hair comes off, trust me. Come on, why does this keep pulling forward? Get away. It's like static cling. I keep getting all this hair trying to grab back to where I was working. Why? What is up? Jesus, there is static cling in the air. That's what the problem is. I was like looking at that. It's floated all the way to that corner over there, so something else pretty much. Okay, now we peel this onion back here. We got one more layer here. Let's see what's on this side here. I gotta make sure I don't have too much. All right, that's working. That's working. Asylum, Beyond the Dead. What's up, buddy? How we doing tonight? I know it's a Sunday night, but I figure I got nothing better to do. I slept pretty much all day because I worked all night last night, so I'm just styling the hair. And the way I like to style my hair is I do it in layers. I know one thing, I'm pulling one heck of a lot of hair off of this. A lot of static electricity is in the air tonight. Yeah, this is a Tots 78 that I overhauled. I'll show it to you in a second here. Yeah, this is a Tots 78 that I overhauled. And I used Icelandic hair. And I like it. It's soft. It's soft, but the fibers are pretty thick to give it that authenticity. Why? Come on. I'm full of static electricity myself in here tonight. I want to be careful with this pompadour. I don't want it to pull too much hair out. All right. And like I said, when I take the hair off of this, I do it in layers because trying to comb through all that at once is just not. It's just not a good idea, for one. And this is easier to do. When you do it this way, it's a lot easier to do. All right, so now we just blend this top in over here. This top in over here. First I got to dehair this. Little cheap brush. Broke the handle off it many moons ago. But brush still works, so why throw it away? Now I'm really going to try and hone in on the sides now. I don't want to pull too much from the top anymore. I'm really going to try and rake the sides real good, if I can keep the mask straight. And notice how I'm pulling it in this direction. Yes. Now a lot of the hair is not coming off anymore because I've pretty much taken off all the hair that needs to be taken off. But there's so much static in the air, man. I'm probably going to have to wet this a little bit. Let me read your comment, Asylum. Hold on. paint and the hair looks fantastic. The hair seems to be the hard part of any Myers mask. For me, it's not that hard. I don't know. I think the hair's pretty easy to do as long as you, you make sure that you put the right amount of hair on it. That's the key. I mean, yes, let me look at this pile of hair here. That's a lot of hair that I took off of this thing. But if you don't put enough on there, you can't get the amount that you really need to give it the style. You just comb it out until it stops coming out. And, all right, come on. This is driving me nuts. The hair is sticking to me like a magnet. Okay, so what I need is my wet bottle here, my little sprinkler bottle. All right, let me try to give you a straight on shot. All right, so this is nowhere near done, but you get your pompadour here. Let me take a look. Yeah, your pompadour's here. It's a little thick on this side. I'm gonna have to do something about that. I'll use scissors and thin that out a little bit. There's enough hair to really create a nice pompadour too. So it's there. Let me see. Can you see it okay? Let me see. I want it to look up at the camera just right. So you can get the
Johnny,
yo,
what's happening?
just styling the hair on this thing.
Styling?
Styling. I'm just giving everybody a good look at how the pompadour has to be nice and high on the top of the head. The comb, look at all the hair that came out of that thing.
Yeah, it looks like a cat.
Good thing it isn't. I'd be sneezing my head off. I'm allergic to cats. Cat dander and me don't get along at all. And there's so much static electricity in this hair. It's terrible. I'm pulling it off of here and throwing it over there, and it's keeps coming back at me. All right. Yeah, the paint job on this is pretty sick. It's and the thing is, the camera doesn't capture it as well as I'd like it to. Paint job is definitely bad. Really nice, so. Now I'm just trying to get the hair in position, and then I'm gonna muss it up a little bit up here. Then I gotta create the strands to make it look good there. I gotta make the little devil's horns on each side. But we are there. I just have to scissor the back of the head, which I'm gonna do. It's actually not bad the way it looks. The length is right. Let me see. Yeah, it needs a little bit of scissoring. So let me show you how I scissor the back of the hair. So what are you working on? You done your stream?
Oh yeah, I wasn't streaming.
Oh, that's right. You were doing the game. I wanted you to show me that game. Let me get. Maybe tomorrow we'll do it.
Yeah.
I just want to. I got to get this damn thing styled. I said I was going to get it finished, and because I want to move on to other things. It's supposed to warm up in the next couple of days. I know that. There's, it might be after Thanksgiving. I think because it's this Thanksgiving, I'm not going to mold my sculpt until the weather gets. It's supposed to warm up right after Thanksgiving, so then I'm going to mold my sculpture over here, which I'll show you guys in a minute. Let me get the scissors and show you how to do the hairline in the back. And I'm doing everything by eye right now in memory. I don't have a picture of the, I've done enough hair jobs now to know how this thing's supposed to look, you know. So, that being, what the world? Wow. Okay. I need a piece of sandpaper. Okay. I glued my shears together by accident. And there's too much glue on there. I thought I cleaned it off. I guess I didn't. Alright, so where'd that sandpaper disc go that I had sitting over here? I had a piece of sandpaper over here that I can't seem to see right now. Oh, where did you go? Give me a second here. Let me find that sandpaper. I don't know what I do with that sandpaper. Oh. There's always this method. Hold on. I'll break out the knife. Tearing up my tabletop here. Just got to get it off the edge. Better. There we go. Okay. My blade, my shears were messed from that glue. Give me a sec. Oh, come on. Really? I don't know what it is, but it feels like I'm running downhill in this room. And I know I'm not. I know it's level. Maybe the chair's cocked or something. I don't know what the hell it is. Gotta have my chair close enough to my subject. Let me read some of the comments here real quick before I get doing this. I'm really good at sculpting. Can't wait to sculpt a Michael Myers mask. Yeah, believe me, Asylum, it is a really big challenge. In looking back, I kind of wish I had done something else to get a little bit better with anatomy, human anatomy. Just to get better with making sure that everything is correct on the face and the shape of the head and everything. The shape is everything. Every little detail is so important. You're working with crumbs of clay when you're dealing with trying to replicate the Michael Myers look. It is really tough. It's not an easy task. I spent almost 2 years to getting to where I am now with my sculpture. That's the thing. I mean, I did several versions, and none of them I was happy with. And I'm sure at the very end of doing this one here, I'll probably find something else wrong with it, you know. And then I don't know. I'm at the point where it's so minute now that it's not worth it to overhaul again, to me anyway, because you're talking about just slight little changes that you have to make it look perfect. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it the way I want to. I just want to keep it to where it's at. I'm going to show you the sculpture as soon as I get done doing the styling on this hair. And then I'm going to have to wet this a little bit because the static electricity is driving me nuts. So, what I do Let me push this. I'm going to tilt this like this. All right. And and never cut this way. Never cut diagonally. You always want to go vertical when you're trimming the hair. Oop, almost cut the mask. Always go vertical. Always follow the hair too. Never go against it. All right, so I pretty much got it close to where I want it to be. Almost. A little too long here still. Really thick up in this area here, so that's why I'm now this will make more sense once I start styling it. So I gotta get this clump of hair out of here. See if that'll fight back. Okay. This is really thick here still. I don't know why. I put a little too much hair. Yeah, it's done coming out. Okay. So we're gonna, right in here, just thin it out. All the way down into the hairline. That's a little better. Okay. Okay, let me get this hair out of my way so I can function. A lot of static electricity in the air here tonight, that's for sure. Okay, need my little misting bottle to get some of this look out of here, and I also need yeah, I'm going to show it to you in a few minutes here. I'm going to show you. I mean, I'm pretty much done. I don't have anything left to do on the sculpture. His hair looks pretty good. Okay. Now, I will turn these lights on and face it to my sculpture. This way you guys can see it. when I go to turn it. And I need my spray bottle of water, which is right here. Alright, we're going to go with blue on this side, and yellow on that side. Hold on. See, I always put the lights. I put one light dimmed to the yellow, and one side dimmed to the white, so it gives it that two. Where's that bottle? There it is. And this is full. Okay. All right, and we also need. I'm going to use just hairspray. I just think that if I put too much of that glue stuff on there, it creates a tacky look to the hair. Yeah, let me grab the hairspray. Hairspray is good as long as you use the stuff that's really thick and it really grabs well. Extra hold, max hold. Doesn't matter what kind you use, it pretty much is all the same. Let me see. Really? My dye just fell out of there. Okay. All right, so I got these 3 cans of hairspray. And I don't know which one feels better, but we're going to find out. Once I do the styling on the top of the hair, I'm going to muss it up a little bit. So here's the... Now I'm going to put that loose hair into a bag. God knows what I can use it for. I can use the... these are the three types of hairspray that I use. Sometimes, just, just preference. Move my chair back over because it keeps getting knocked around every time I move. Got my spray bottle of water. All right, sneak your butt back into this area here. And we're going to make sure this isn't on jet. Missed, good. Now, I'm not putting a lot of water on this. I'm not, because that's just going to make it a mess to work with. All right, so we're going to mess up the top. We don't want like a perfect we don't want a perfect perfect looking hair. And now I like to use just my fingers to settle it all back down. And so the styling starts. Not quite enough water here. And it really is, it's not real hard to do this style. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to start creating little strips of hair. I'm trying to remember exactly where. I remember one strand is right by this check mark, or this one piece of horn. kind of goes up, over. Right now I'm just kind of putting the horns in loosely. And we need to style this hair over a little bit in strands. Okay, now I'm starting to get that swoopish look here. And just slant it over a little bit. And that's what we want. There's a little spot right here. I want to make sure that this is kind of sticking out. This is now what I'm doing is pompadouring that spot, so it's sticking up pretty good there. I'll start on these devil horns real quick. Now, I don't think I'm going to use the water on this. I think what I'm going to do is I'll shake my can pretty good. We still got the back of the head to do yet. And since this is hairspray, it's not going to be that hard to really get accurate. You know, I can really refine this once I have a picture instead of talking to you guys on here, because the problem is when I'm on here live, I'm trying to watch your comments and stuff. You know, there's a horn here in this region here, and I'll refine it. I'll make it look really good. I don't mind the stuff getting on my hands because, you know, I'll cut these. They're a little long, some of them. But boy, I like this. I like the look of this type of hair. All right, so back in here, we definitely want some horns. Just putting a little bit so I can add some. I'm doing this quick. I'm not really spending a lot of time. Now, some people are very slow and what's the right word? Really, overkill. You just you can't. I mean, you can spend hours just doing a hair job. But this is hairspray, and in the shipping process, if somebody were to buy, you're going to lose some of that detail in the hair job. Because it ships out to you and it's not as um, perfect as you would like it to be. So you'll have to spend time on it. That's why I'm making the video, so you guys can actually do your own hair job. When you get it at home and it gets a little messed up by the time it ships to you and everything, uh, you can watch the video and pretty much fix it, the way it should be. Or don't like the way I did it, you can always now that you know how, you can style it based on what you think is what works for you. That's what I say to that. So, all right. So now these are going to be good because these horns won't be as long, and that's what I want. I don't want real long horns. You want horns, but you don't want these really, really ridiculously long ones. And they go up in the air a little bit, so it's better when they're shorter, because when they're long, they have a tendency of not staying put. Now, when I stick this in a bag, the horns will be there, but you'll have to reposition them to fix it, because in traveling, or if I put it in a box, even in a box, I have to bubble wrap the whole thing. So the hair does get a little messed up, but not too bad. So where I'm just, this isn't that difficult, believe me, it's really not. I think there's one more up here. I'll read your comments in 1 second here. Let me just try and get this last. And now I'm positioning the horns the way I think looks pretty good. And there's one horn. It's right where this. You see this? This is the line right here. There's a line. It's the hairline where they took off the hair from the sideburn. And on this mask, this Tots Trick or Treat Studios mask, they actually put the hairline into the mask. So right where this comes at the top here, there's this little chunk of hair that was, when they pulled the hair off, it stayed right up in here. And right at that spot, there is a follicle of, there's a long hair that literally gets knotted up like that. And it's long, as you can see, and it kind of like goes over like that. All right, so now I pretty much have the hairs where I want them. And now it's like, let's just get the whole shape. All right, there's one hair that has to come over like that. And now we just shape it. And then I'm going to trim the hair lengths real quick. Like this here on this side, this is way too long. So we want to, wow, this glue is messing up my hair, or messing up my cutting ability. A little too long. And now, if I can get the hair off my hands, very sticky, very sticky. And I want to put a little bit more gnarly looking strands down here, so I'm gonna once I get these rolled up so they're not coming undone, I can position them. You don't roll them up, and you let them roll. You roll them up and then let them kind of dry a little bit, and then you can really position it. Okay, so now this one here goes up like that, and that is going to take a little bit of persuasion. And I've seen different people do different things, like, you know, like blow on it with hot air and stuff like that. In other words, but you really can't, I don't know. Let me see what that looks like. Yeah, that's a little too... Okay, so what I need to do now is kind of do an overall spray and mat it down a little bit. Because there's no... Remember, I didn't spray the whole head yet. I just sprayed the... Now you'll see it come to where it's... And as I get that... Definitely want these sides pushed in more. Then I'll pull these little devil's horns out once I get the sides pushed in where I want them. Oh, I got too much hair on my fingers. Okay, let's see what we got here. A little too, okay. Use a little bit more. A little more stick. So the mask is so thin. I had to get that matted down right before I pull those worms out. All right, so let's face the camera with it so far. What do you think, guys? What do you guys think? I'm not liking this side too much. This side's can bother me a little bit. I'll figure it out. This is just a little too high. A little too much. Got too much length on that. And make sure that you don't want your horns too long. Up here it's different. You want the horn a little bit longer. But on the side your horns can't be too long. Okay, and a little right behind this horn is a little bulky there and thin right here. That's because it's just the way it's combed out. All right, now the next thing I want to do is up underneath of this thing. Underneath, I'm going to put a spray underneath of this. And then kind of just fluff it out. I hope I didn't pull that out of the camera. Yeah, what I did was I sprayed up underneath of it and then I pulled it out a little bit. Give it that gnarly look. And now, on the back side, I want to make sure that like this is really pulled in tight over here. Hold on. Actually, kind of digging the way this is turning out. This is a little too long in here. A little long there. Okay. Let me read your comments because I don't have my glasses on. You have to give me a second here. Here, this is a little swooped over. That looks good there. This is looking good. That's looking good. This could be a little pointier. Which we can fix that right there like this. There we go. That looks more natural. You don't want it to look like it's been sheared off. Now, okay, time to read comments and get caught up with you guys. The hair I used on this was Icelandic. It's actually a fairly cheap hair, and it gives it a pretty authentic look. Let me try to get closer so you can see the fibers. You can see, let me see, am I close to the camera or too close? What am I at? Where am I at? Okay. These balls, how you been, buddy? All right, let me read these comments now. It's pretty much done. I've pretty much, styled it. It's styled now. That's how fast this doesn't take long to style the hair. Everybody thinks it takes forever. Now, if you want to really make every little follicle perfect, good luck, first of all. And, but you can see the detail in this hair. It's pretty cool. And you don't want it looking like perfectly combed. That's always been one of beginners. The beginning of doing these masks, I used to comb it and make it looked really too smooth. And now I know how to weather that hair, and I just showed you how to do it. So you use just plain water and you rub it. That's all you do. Don't overdo it because you don't want to felt this. And felting means when it gets real like this. This is felting right here. You don't want it to become a big fur ball. You want to see those fibers. So you have to rub it with some water, but you don't want to felt this. So very important not to over rub. Just put the right texture. It gives it the right messed up look. I'll point out some little things about this type of hair, this Icelandic hair. Hold on. All right, you can see, I don't know if you can see on camera, but you see these like little bright spots of, like, it's got little streaks of gray hair in here, which gives it a very realistic look. You can really see those fibers. I don't know how well this camera picks up on that. That's what stinks about doing a little thin in this area. So what I might do is pinch and pull a little bit. Nah, I better leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. This is my mask. I mean, I can sell it if anybody wants to buy it, but that's the let's see, the overhauled look, my in frame. Okay. Yeah, what do you say, Arrow Electronics? I hate that. Let me see if I can put something black behind the eyes. Yeah, it sucks. Now wait a minute. I thought that was a two-part, two parts. I thought that the final is two parts. I think it's this week and next week. I don't know. I don't know how many episodes there are to this. I think it was a two-part ending. Final two episodes are tonight and next week. Really? This is it? Tonight's the final one. Is it a regular, is it a 2 hour one, or is it like, how long is it? Because I would really be disappointed if it's a real, like a regular hour. That would be horrible. Yeah, I'll be watching it. I'm going to stream it, so I don't have to watch it in live time, which is good. So I'm looking forward to it because I've been a Walking Dead from the beginning. Some people aren't, and they've lost interest, and I get why, because when they took Rick out of there, I really think Rick was a huge. And let me give you my theory on why, because the story focused on him from the very beginning of the movie. It was him, and now one of them had to die, but Rick was the remaining guy, and the only one left is his daughter, and it just kind of like, and now she's shot, so who knows what the hell's going to happen there. But I don't know. It just feels like when Rick left the show, and understandably why. The man's been away from his family for 10 years, shooting this Walking Dead. Hour and 30 minutes. Good, man. That's going to be a good one to watch. Yeah, I just feel like the when they killed off Rick, well, they didn't kill him off, but maybe he comes back into, if he comes back into this episode, I'm going to be happy. Then I'll be okay. All right, But if he's just completely written off the whole story and he's just not there, that's going to suck. And I'm pretty sure they're keeping a really close, tight lip. They're not going to reveal who's going to be in this episode, how it's going to go. They're really being quiet about this. So everything we think we know, it's not going to be the same. Yeah, what type of hair? This type of hair is called Icelandic with a D. Icelandic. Icelandic hair. It's brown. This hair is really nice. It's really a nice hair. It's very soft, but the fibers are pretty thick. I think they're 40 to 50 microns, which is close to what human hair is, and that's why it looks pretty good. I think that really gives it that realistic look. Yeah, it's a good looking hair. The mask looks pretty good. The mask is like, I think, pretty awesome considering the paint job is really a home run. If Arrow Electronics is still on, he's seen it, right here. He's seen what it looks like, and it does look really good. It's just really the lighting and everything can't capture the details of how good this mask looks. It sucks, I'm just like, well, the only way I can get a really good capture is possibly on a cloudy day outside and on broad in daylight. That's the only way I'm going to get the actual true look of this mask. The shadowing, you can't really see the shadowing that's in here. It's there. You can see a little bit here, which is about normal. The lips look pretty good. Yeah, it's a nice mask. It really is. The overhaul's nice, and I used my own paint, and it's a mix of white and cobalt blue. It's called fish belly. The blend has to be perfect, or you don't get that moon glow. You don't get that ghost glow, that ghosty looking glow. if the color is off. You have to make sure that blend is right. The ratio vary. I just, because I do it by the gallon. Like I'll buy a gallon of white paint, indoor latex house paint, and then I'll add, I'll get a quart of cobalt blue, and I'll just keep adding little drops to it until I get the right color. Now, if you overdo it, you're gonna have this. You're gonna see blue. If you get the right balance, you get this hue of blue. You don't get this. It almost like, is that gray? Is that, you can't tell. Most people can't tell. They think they can create this color with adding black to the white, and you can't. That's not how this color. That's not how you make this color. It's fish belly. Fish belly is a blue and white combo. Animal hair, it's Icelandic hair, and that's a goat. That's a northern goat hair. It's not synthetic. It's actual wool, and it's a really nice fiber thickness. It's got the right color. I don't even have to spray this black. I don't have to throw any color into this hair. This color is pretty dark on its own, and it gives you a very natural look. I'm not spraying any black into this hair because it's already fairly dark, this hair. So this is a perfect hair, especially color-wise, for the Michael Myers 1978. Now, if you're going to do a Halloween 2, I don't recommend using this hair. Then I would do a mohair. And mohair is real important to do with the Halloween 2, because you have to dye it with the right ratio. You have to dye it the right ratio with a combination of like blonde and brown combination, and you got to get the right mix down, and then you soak your hair for so many minutes, and pull it out, and you better have the ratio right, because if you don't, you're going to have either way too dark or way too light. And so far, I've been okay with it, thanks to the help of some people that are on here. I can't remember who actually. Yes, I'm going to do the Halloween ends right into my. All right, here's the plan. Here's the plan. These balls, you still on? Everybody's still on with me? Okay. Here's the plan. I'm going to do the H40 next. Once I get this molded, I have my 78, my Night Creeper 78. That'll be the first. As a matter of fact, let's now that we're done, let's show you the sculpture. Let me pull it forward a little bit. Hold on. Needs to go back just a little bit. Trying to get the right look to it so you can see it. I still have a little bit of, I have texture at the top of the head, but what I'm doing, all right, now I'm going to pull this off the stand because I don't need it there anymore. That's a done deal. That hair job is finished, guys, and I'll take this off of here and you'll be able to see it more. Oh, and I didn't plug my phone in. How stupid. I did it again, guys. Guys, always remember to check the plug. Tell me when you see me. Check the plug. Make sure you're plugged in, because if the battery goes low. And what I'm stuck with is, okay, so here's this guy. That's the hair job on the 78 Tots, and the paint job and the overhaul. That's finished. So I'm happy with it. Looks good. All right, now here's the Here's the sculpture. Zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it. That is done. Nothing left to do to it except for texture the top of the head, and it is ready for molding. So now, right now the temperature has been in the 30s, so it's getting very cold, but we are supposed to have a warm-up next week, and because this is Thanksgiving, which happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. This is Thanksgiving week, so I'm kind of like, I don't think I'm going to mess with doing this mold this week. I just don't want the disappointment of having another broken mold. Not on Thanksgiving. I want to wait until after the weekend. I'm going to wait until after this week's over, and then plus the warm-up's going to happen right after Thanksgiving too. So there's going to be a warm-up, and as soon as I get a couple of days of nice weather, it only needs to be like 50 degrees, 50, 60. And I'll be able to do this because I'm going to mold it inside my house, but I have to do the water buckets outside, and that can be a cold experience, and I don't feel like getting sick doing that. So let me see. Let me give you different angles. Yeah, this is really pretty accurate as far as the life cast of William Shatner. It's pretty close. I'd hate to split the difference. So yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm happy with the sculpture. Am I making any changes? Nope, we're done. I don't need to go any further with this sculpture. It's a done deal. The sculpture is ready for molding, outside of just smoothing out the top of the head a little bit. That's all. Then I got to put the clay walls up on it. And it should be a really nice finished product. So once again, that's the sculpture, and you guys can see for yourself how good it looks. All right, and then we're going to go over to here. This is what I just overhauled. Here's the Trick or Treat Studios. Tots Trick or Treat Studios, Michael Myers 78 mask. Did the flesh on underneath the jaw and chin. It's even underneath the nose a little bit. It's under, it's in the eye. It's on the money. It looks pretty good. It's not. So that's an overhaul in fish belly white. And that's what the original color was they used in the original mask, was fish belly white, which they don't even sell that anymore. Yeah, it's the shadowing. There's a lot to what makes this so creepy, and you have to get the eye cuts right. The eye cuts have to. I got a little black. There's a little bit of black paint that's still on the top of the eye cut right there. I have to fix. But that's nothing. Just put a little white paint in there and shadow it just again a little bit, just to cover that black. It's acrylic paint that's around the black, the edges of the eye cuts. But yeah, this is very. I think it's pretty accurate. Yeah, and you can overdo it with the shadow too. You got to be careful with not doing. Oh, you meant the sculpture. Oh, okay. Yeah, the sculpture has its own shadows. I mean, now the lights are on it. Like this side, I have a blue. It's natural white light, which gives it a blue look, and I got this one over here with a down light and like yellow warm light, and that's why you have the two different colors on each side. But the scowl is the secret to a really accurate look. The scowl has to be right to cast the right shadowing. Everything's about the shadows on this mask. It's what gives it the personality. Like if I take the lights, oh, you know what? I'll just show you. Let me do that. I'll just drop this down. I'll drop the lights down low so you can see when you have direct light on it. Versus, sorry, I'm looking down at my feet here. Let me lower this. Let me lower this one. It's still weird, but you still have a little bit of shadowing underneath of that eye cut. There's eye cuts. So you can see that this is, that's what the light's like, literally right there. A little bit down on it, but not much. Very realistic, natural look to the sculpture now. It has that right look. It really does. Now I'm going to go over this with a fine. I'm going to hit light on every angle to make sure everything is really smoothed out nice before I go and I put this in the mold, because if I don't tilt this back and look up underneath of it and everything and look at all the details from a different angle, like looking up into it like that, you're going to miss some things, because sometimes that's the way it is. You're not seeing everything. You're seeing everything from one or two angles, and you have to check this thing from every angle to make sure that your sculpture's really refined. So, yeah, this sculpture is really, really close to, it's close. It's dead on where I want it to be. Dead on. I mean, this to me is my perfect Michael Myers. Now, is it exactly like somebody else's mask? No, it's not exact. It's not exact to the original. It's not exact. But if you look at all the people making all these different masks, there's very few masks that are identical. And everybody's mask has a little bit of a twist to it. And this is my version. It's called the Night Creeper 78, made by Custom Corpses, me, DJ Styles. And this is my version of this mask. So I think that that's what I wanted. I wanted this to be my take on the sculpture. If you like it, you're gonna want it, and you're gonna probably reach out to me, and we'll make arrangements. If you don't like it, then, go for the mask that you really love. That's the thing. That's what's nice about these collections, especially collectors out there. Yeah, well, I mean, I think that it has the right attitude. It just has the right attitude. The lips give it that non-expressive look, and that's the key. But the scowl, if you watch my other videos, I show you that I bought one of those plastic life cast masks just to get the scowl right. There was something wrong with my sculpture, even going back and looking at some of my past ones. And I thought, I got to figure it out. So when I got the life cast, I suddenly realized that the scowl was not bulged out at the top of the nose in this area. It wasn't far enough out, and that was the secret. And that brought the face tapered off. It made me put clay up into the eye cut right up here, up underneath the eyebrows on both sides. I had to add more clay into this whole region right in here. This whole area right here got more clay, and it really brought it into the right look. And now it has that very natural, it has the right shape. It's hard to explain, but it's on the money. It really is. It looks good. And I can't wait to see this as a mask. This is going to be an amazing mask. It really is. I think this is really going to be a home run mask. And like I said, this is copyright protected material, so you're very limited to how many you can sell over the course of the year. So that's where I'm aiming. Yep, let me see, let me read, let me type of animal hair. Are you planning on doing the Halloween ends? Yes, I'm doing the ends. And I didn't get into full depth of what I'm doing here. Okay. I'm going to make the H2 is going to be this mask only painted. I don't want to do an H. There's a lot of really good H2s out there that you guys can buy. There really is. I mean, I don't want to change my sculpture that dramatically just to give it that stretch look, because this is already a big mask. If I stretch this out to make it look even bigger, I'd have to shrink the entire size of this mask to do it, to be successful with that H2 look. What I'll do is I'll paint this to look like an H2, the original 1981 H2, which was a Shatner mask. This is closer to what Shatner looks like, this mask that I made here, than more. It looks more like a Shatner than it does anything else, I think. But it's not a Shatner because the eye cuts are already in place. And all right, so here's the plan. After this is molded, hopefully everything goes right and I'm able to pull a good, I'll be able to pull the mold off of here with no problem, because now the ears are in soft monster clay. So that's going to pull free from the ears real easily, and that's pretty much the hardest part, is the ears. It keeps locking. So let's say the mask is done successfully in the mold. I'll make my master copies of this. I'll start fixing this sculpture right away, because everything on this is all hard monster clay. This is real hard. So you get very minimal damage. You get a little damage on the nose, nostril flare outs, a little bit underneath the eye cuts, gets a little damaged. The lower lip always gets damaged, just a little bit. And sometimes the chin gets a little wrecked. Depends on how bad it is when I pull it. So the next step will be an H40. I'm going to age this, not changing the style of the face, not changing anything. I'm just going to age this to make it look like an H40. So you're going to get this sculpture just like this, only aged to look like the 40. All right. Wait a minute, I missed that. Studios mask. Yeah, I just did this one. I just did that one there. I just overhauled that. This is the 78. And that's what it looks like. Let me back this camera out just a little bit. Yeah, that's what that looks like now. As you can see, I just did the hair. That's, if you just joined us, I just did the hair. So that's, I just styled the hair, and that's pretty much where it's at. Yep, this is that's done. I just overhauled this over the last couple of videos. So if you can watch the whole overhaul. It's, I think, 3 parts. This is the last part to it. So you can check that out. Okay, so that's going to be an H40 next. And then we're going to do the kills after I demold this, the H40. And then we're going to do the ends. And then I'm going to do an ends concept mask, my original, design. And then we're going to revert it all back to a flashback, because I'm going to do a flashback too with this sculpture. I don't know that it's necessary, because this looks going to look pretty much, I think this 78 is going to be the one that everybody's going to want. I did make a kills mask. It's just not as good as this sculpture here. I did a Jason mask for a kid. I haven't done an adult one yet, but if you look at my videos, I actually, guys, just a reminder, I've already started working on doing the playlists. So there's a playlist in there with just Jason Voorhees, and you can watch me build the whole costume. And you guys can do it yourself, you know, or you can hire me to do it, whichever way you want to do it. You just send me your outfit, and I can do your costume. Um, you know, I'd prefer if you wait until, you know, the weather gets a little warmer, probably April. You know, you can send me your get-ups, and I can start working on your costumes if you want to have me do them. But I show you how to do it, and there's a couple things that I've learned through that process that I am going to do differently. Um, I'm not going to use long johns from now on. I'm definitely going to use dance skins. I definitely want to do men's tights. Uh, Possibly one jumpsuit. You want a full jumpsuit? Yeah, I have a Tots H40. It's upside down. I have it sitting right there. I have an H40 over there that I kind of overhauled, but it was before we actually had a lot of pictures of the H40. It was before the movie was released. I'll show it to you real quick. I have a Kills sitting back there, or yeah, no, it's an ends. That's an ends back there. All right behind my computer. That's an ends mask. I'm going to probably overhaul that too, but just not right now. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm going from one thing to the next. I'm going to rehair this guy. Let me put this down. I'm trying to do everything one-handed here. I'm going to rehair that. I don't like that hair that's on there. Yeah, this is before. It was before. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. Yeah, anytime you guys want to talk to each other, just put the @ symbol in front of anybody's name. Just remember that on YouTube. It's so much easier. This way I know you're not talking to me. Anytime you're talking to me and you want to specifically ask me a question, you just put @ custom corpses, you know, and then you just put the @ symbol in front of the because then I'll know you're not talking to me. So I don't have to reply to something or read over things that you're not really talking. Yep, @ customer. Okay, you got it. There you go. See? Now it's showing up on my screen. See how it shows up orange? I know instantly that you're talking to me. I don't have to read every comment. You know, I try to, but you know, sometimes if say there's a lot of people that start, you know, coming on, then it's real important to be able to @ Myers H Blogger. There you go, man. See? Now see, I don't see that last when you text it, I know you're talking to somebody else. It's important when you have a lot of people. Right now we don't have a lot of people. I think there's 5 people on right now. That's easy to keep track of. But when, say I've had 100 people on or 200 people on, you know how hard it is to try and keep, because they're popping up really quick and you can't read over all of them. So I always encourage people to get used to doing that when you're talking to specific people that are on the channel, or even me, if you're talking to me directly. So it's just a much easier method. And it's pretty cool. Yep. Thank you, buddy. Myers, I can't, wait a minute, my eyesight's terrible. I don't have my glasses on. What do I do with them? I put them down. I'm right here. Hold on. Let me get my glasses on and try to read that. I'm trying to read your name. Myers the Vlogger 175. Okay, cool. I will, and I always try to return the favor. I'll follow you, especially if you're an artist or something and you're getting into this business. I'll follow you right back. Remember that, guys. But some of you guys are just, you know, on YouTube and you're not really a content creator, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I kind of don't really follow unless you actually are putting videos up, just so you know. You know, I get familiar with now when I get to see a guy that's on all the time and you're always on here and you're constantly coming on my live videos, yeah, I follow you. Yes, and so remember that. But if it's just somebody that's coming on randomly out of nowhere, I don't usually follow. But I'm not downing that. I'm just like, you know, just you got other interests. So, but that is the Tots H40 overhaul that I did 2 years ago. You can actually see the video on that. It's on my videos. It's actually one of the first videos I put up. So it goes to show you how long that was. 2.5 years, 3 years ago. I'm not even sure. Okay. Loved H1, 1978. My favorite of all of them. Loved H2. Loved the way they did the continuation, 1981. Loved Dick Warlock and the way he played the role. And I think he played the role as though Michael was not human at that point because he already been shot 6 times in the heart, blah, 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 blah. You know, if you watch the original 1978, you know that you left that when he got up and walked away from falling up on that roof after being stabbed, shot, just no way he was human. So my thought was at that point, then if he's not human, Dick Warlock nailed it. He was very methodical, you know, very slow. Looking for the right word. I'm getting tired. Anyway, very, very stalking. You know, just kind of creepy. You know, I just love the way Dick Warlock played him. So I loved H1 and H2. They do work well together. The original in 1978 and 1981. H40, I liked. I think what it was with all 3 of the movies is I love the masks. The masks they made from H40, the kills, and the ends mask were absolutely great. All right, unbelievable masks. Now let's talk about the movies. The H40 was okay. I don't know. It wasn't great. I think what it was is it when he escaped the same way that he did in previous. There was a previous movie, I think it was H4, where he escaped the hospital from an ambulance. Well, this time it was a you know, corrections truck or whatever. Well, I can't remember. What was it? A bus? Yeah, it was a bus. So yeah, there was that little twist, but it was basically the same kind of storyline where he escapes from the hospital or the insane asylum from getting on a transport, being transported somewhere. So that's pretty much why I didn't. I mean, that's not the reason why I didn't like it. I just think that I didn't like the masks in H4 and 6, or any of the rest of them. I definitely didn't like Rob Zombie's at all. I don't think you can explain Michael Myers. You don't want. I don't want to know about his childhood and all that stuff. To me, it just was just overdrawn. It was too sadistic. I'm just not that much of a fan of trying to explain evil. Evil is evil. I'm an old school guy now. I got to tell you, I was 16 years old when the original 78 came out, and I saw it in the theaters with my two cousins, who were both females, and like an idiot, I sat between them. I left the theater with bleeding arms because of their fingernails, scared the living crap out of them. So, okay. Didn't watch Halloween Ends at first because of the bad reviews. Well, you know, the thing is with Halloween Ends, I had to see it. I didn't go to the theater because I already had heard too many bad things about it. So I didn't go to the theater, and I'm not going to spend $12 or $15 to go see a bad movie. I already have, what was it streaming on? Peacock. I already had Peacock, so I just watched it on Peacock. And that was good enough. Me and my brother, we both agreed to let's just watch it on Peacock because it's getting so many bad reviews. And they were absolutely 1,000% correct. It sucked. Just my opinion. I hated that movie. I hated it. I still hate it. I don't. There's. I can. I've. I don't even have the interest to watch it again. I watched it one time. I don't need to watch that movie again. I think Michael Myers was in that movie. What? On all of maybe 20 minutes. That was it. I'm like, really? This is how you end this franchise? Nah. Sorry. I could have written something better myself. Um, Let me see. Yeah, the Rob Zombie mask is good, but forgettable. Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm just not a real big fan of Rob Zombie. I don't like his music. I don't like a lot of things about his style of. Now they said this Herman Monster movie that he did, the Munsters, it's supposedly really good, more family, family oriented. So, you know, it'll change my perspective if it's that good. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna see that movie. It's getting really good reviews as a family type of movie. I'm 60 years old, guys, so I've been around and seen all these different things at their. I've seen all these movies, even like the creation of. Uh, because Halloween was the first of its kind since Psycho. That's what I think you can compare Halloween, the original. All right. The original Halloween was a lot like Psycho, only he was dressed up as a woman. Michael was the shape. It was William Shatner on steroids. Uh, yeah. Well, I mean, like, but, Psycho was kind of like that. He's looking through her, looking at her through a peephole and watching her and stalking her and, eventually kills her. Um, but my point is, like, you just, that was the first of its kind back in 78. It was the first of its kind. I'll give you another movie that was kind of like this, Point of View, which is where they really missed the boat on all three of these movies, H40. And this was one of the reasons why I didn't. Kills was my favorite out of all three of them. Kills was definitely hands down my favorite. Although they did some of that political correctness stuff, and I didn't like that. But some of the dialogue could have been written better, that's for sure. The dialogue was bad on all three of the movies, if you ask me. Not really good writing. Dialogue writing, I mean, script writing. Uh, Fundamentally, the story was kind of like, you know, pretty much predictable. It really was. Good kills. Kills, there was a lot of great kills. Michael Myers just going nuts. And now I'll tell you my idea, and I've got it written down so nobody can deny it was, and it's dated and everything. But I'm going to tell you what I would have written. And actually what I did write. I wrote a little, and now I'm not a writer. I'm not a writer by far, and I'm not going to write dialogue. I'm not a character developer either. So I wouldn't know the first thing about what you would do with these characters. My story is based on just a premise only. All right. Here's what I would have done, and this is what I wrote down, just a premise of what Halloween Ends should have been. All right. Halloween Ends should have picked up right where Halloween Kills left off. Now think of it this way. I love this. I think this would be really cool to make a mini movie in this way. Maybe a YouTube movie. Um, all right, so what you do is Laurie's daughter gets killed in Michael Myers' house. All right, and Laurie kind of escapes the hospital because her daughter's missing, and they can't find her, blah, 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 blah. They don't know where she's at. And she goes to Michael Myers' house and goes to burn down Michael Myers' house. All right? Tell me if you like this idea, guys. She goes to Michael Myers' house to burn it down and goes inside and discovers her daughter inside, dismembered, cut to shreds, and literally has a mild heart attack. Ends up dropping. They find her. They find the daughter in the house. They take her back to the hospital. and Michael goes back to the hospital. Now, meanwhile, they've had, like, because Laurie was going back there, you got to write. Here's where I don't have anything planned out. Where I want to get the hospital semi-empty again. My whole point of this is bringing the original 1981 Halloween 2 back into the fold. All right, under this timeline. I'll explain that when I get done talking about this story here with the other masks. I'll show you all the masks that are up on my wall. Cool. So, anyway, the timeline basically is brought back in, and where I say you pay homage to all the old actors that were in Halloween, the original Halloween 2, including Dick Warlock and Leo Rossi, who played Bud. Dick Warlock was the Shape. You give him a different part in the movie. He's 82 years old now. I just met him this summer for the first time. It was great and great experience. Anyway, you bring him in. You give him a cameo like they did for Nick Castle. All right, Nick Castle. He actually played the Shape a couple times. Maybe you have Dick Warlock play the Shape too. He's 82 years old, a little tough, but you know what? Cameras are amazing. You can make anybody look big. You can make anybody look small. So, okay, so now you have this concept of bringing in all these. You bring Jimmy back and Leo Rossi. They were Bud and Jimmy, and that was Lance Guest who played Jimmy. And you make these guys older because it's a different timeline now. So you don't have to have them. They never died in Halloween 1. Halloween 2 never existed, but this is to pay homage to that original Halloween 2 movie in 1981. So you bring these characters back in the Halloween 2 or Halloween Ends script, and maybe they're in charge of, both of those guys are in charge of the ambulance, I don't know, whatever, they're in charge of the ambulance, whatever you would call that department. So, EMTs or whatever, they're both in charge of that, and they're part of this movie. You can bring back even the girls. Everybody in that movie can be brought back. And it's just to pay homage to, Halloween 1981 Part 2 is now in the complete fold of the storyline. Not Halloween 3. They completely ignored Michael Myers in Halloween 3, so I had no interest in Halloween 3 at all. I hated that movie. All right, let me rephrase that. It was a good movie on its own. All right, so I'm not going to say I hated it. I was very pissed off when that movie came out, because when they sold it to us, basically, you never knew Michael Myers was not going to be in this movie. You didn't find that out until you were quarter way through the movie. I forget when we found out, when you saw the movie Halloween being on TV. And you were kind of like, what the? That means Halloween was basically a movie, and it was all, so now you knew Michael Myers was not even part of this thing, and it really pissed off a lot of people in the theater. It really did. I was one of them. I got up and walked out. That's how bad I was pissed off. I got up and walked out on that movie. And I never went back to even finish it for a long time. I never finished watching that story. And it wasn't until like maybe 15, 20 years later before I finally sat through it and watched it, so there's that. But yeah, Crystal Lake. Now that's going to be a franchise. I think they're doing a series on that, right? It's just a series. No, Bohorn. If you like Rob Zombie, it's it's everybody's entitled to their taste. Everybody has different taste. I love suspense. I don't like the whole story being told to me. I don't want to have to. My biggest problem with movies is being this old. Man, I figure out plots really fast. Oh man, do I figure them out too fast. And if the script writing is bad, I really figure it out too fast. And I'm like, oh man, they could have done, it's just too easy for me. I don't know what it is. I guess maybe I've just seen too many movies, and I figure out plots really quick. Even mysteries, I'll figure them out. My wife can tell you that. She gets like, why do you keep blowing it for me? Because I know you're 99% right every time you figure something out. And, I'll most times have the movie figured out by, halfway through it, or where it's headed. I even actually guessed, who the killer was and so on and so forth. Now it's still guess because they can still completely throw you in another direction if they're good. But most times they're not that good. So, yeah, the Munsters, I kept hearing great things about that. Well, what do you think of my idea of the concept of bringing back into the fold the timeline of the original Halloween 2, 1981? And the reason I feel so strongly about that is because there's just as many fans that loved Halloween 2 as there are the one Halloween 1, the original. They loved Halloween 2 just as much. They really did. The hospital was key. Having it semi-empty like that and making it very, very feeling like, see, back in the old days, I mean, I worked at a hospital locally when I was a kid, probably like 20 years old. And at nighttime, the hospital was really empty. We lived in Cape May County and there wasn't a lot of people. And I wrote this down, Asylum. I've got this script kind of, it's a concept script is all it is. It's basically concept. It's not a finished deal by far. No, it's just concept. There's got to be characters added to it. There's all kinds of stuff that need to be added to it. But it has a beginning and an end. I have the beginning and I have the end. I won't reveal the end because I don't want to give away the whole thing. But the end is really cool. And yeah, so I'm going to leave that alone. And maybe at some point, I get a writer and that'll help me out, and we'll share the success of it. And maybe we'll do a YouTube movie, maybe using my mask. Wouldn't that be cool? We'll do a Halloween ends the right way. Wouldn't that be cool? And I'm sure anybody could, Yeah, I heard some of the things about Myers' whole series, just the first one. Um, I don't know his entire plan. I can't say I know the entire plan of what John Carpenter wanted to do, but they really butchered this movie. They butchered the hell out of the whole timeline by killing off Michael Myers. Remember, the number one thing that uh, that John Carpenter always maintained saying throughout the years up until the last movie was, "You can't kill evil. You can't kill evil." And to me, that was the whole point of him being stabbed and shot so many times throughout this whole series, from the original movie and Halloween 2. It didn't happen, but the original movie, he got those 6 shots, and escaped that night. And that's where they picked up. They picked up at the very end of Halloween 1/78, where he got shot 6 times. So this guy's been stabbed, shot, pitchforked. I mean, Jesus, I'm sorry, that's not human. And if that's the way you're going to roll with it, all of a sudden now he's weak. He gets his ass beat by a kid half his size. Let me go on. Let me just go off. There's so much wrong with ends. I can't stand it. I hate the movie. I don't care what anybody says. And then to have that little part where they connect with each other and all of a sudden they're seeing each other's pasts, like they're transferring knowledge or something. What the hell was that about? And first of all, if that's the case, that tells me Michael Myers is not human. All right, so come on. What are they? I mean, I don't know who was involved with the writing of this or the direction of this, but man, it was bad. And I have a funny feeling Jamie Lee Curtis had a lot to do with it, and that sucks. So I really hate ends. I hate ends for a lot of reasons, and I can't even pinpoint any specific uh, way. And I would have been much happier if they killed off Laurie Strode. You know, that would have just been great. That would have been okay. So that's a done deal. Um, and I'm sorry, Laurie doesn't make it in my version of Halloween Ends, where it brings into H2. The ending will be Laurie's demise, not Michael's. You know, Michael never dies. You can't kill evil. And if I want to, if it's me, John Carpenter, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it to let somebody else write another one. And sure, somebody's going to come out and probably make a couple of really bad movies, you know. But you got to release the mask, and you got to make it so everybody can, you know, really use the original mask. What's the point in holding on to something if you're never going to do it again? You know, sell it, sell it. Let people use the mask. Let people use the you know the this version of the mask. You know, and not so much, you know, not mine, but I'm saying this here. Stay with the Halloween Ends mask. You know, maybe he finds a new mask that looks like this, brand new. You know, brings it back into this again. Maybe he gets a new mask. You know, who knows? You know, I would have stuck with the Ends mask. Only my mask would have been a little different. Okay, so that would have been like Creep Show, multiple stories about Halloween night on multiple occasions. Or maybe it's still the same night and there's numerous stories that he's telling on Halloween night. That's a cool concept in itself. You don't need to kill the franchise of Michael Myers just because you want to do multiple stories. That would be a good thing to do just on Halloween. Make a bunch of stories up and just do it every Halloween night. Uh, John Carpenter would do something like that. That'd be great. You know, come up with some horror slasher, maybe monsters. You know, you can have all kinds of different, you know, cool movies combined into a little mini series, or you make it all like just like you do Creep Show. You know, where there's short stories, multiple ones, 5 or 6 of them within one movie. I mean, that would have been cool. If John Carpenter did it, that'd be awesome. I love John Carpenter's work. I really do. You know, what was the vampire one? It was called Vampires, I think. What it was, wasn't it? I liked that movie. That was good. Um, that was really good. There's just several. Something. There was another one on Mars. I enjoyed that too. That Carpenter film that was on Mars. I forget what the story. It's been so many years since I've seen it. But I love The Fog. The Fog was awesome. Actually, I was working on a scene that replicates the scene on the boat when it was in the fog for a haunt. And it replicates that whole scene where they boarded, they were alongside the ship and in the fog, and they boarded the boat, and they killed those, you know, 3 guys on the boat. I can't remember the details, but we were trying to recreate that scene with the fog and really make it really cool in this haunt. And we never developed it, but we were still going to use it at some point. Haunted attraction. It really would have been cool because you would have been walking as though you were on the deck of this boat. All right, you wouldn't have been able to see the ship next to you, other than the facade of the ship, the way I had it designed. And there would have been backlighting up at the top where you could have seen the rails, and maybe maybe a captain looking over the rail or something, and piercing red eyes looking down at you. And then all of a sudden, these creatures would have come out of the fog coming at you. You know, it would have been so scary as a walkthrough. And it's only just one scene, but the scene was probably, I think I measured out the floor plan for it was 60 feet long, maybe 70 feet, you know, because you're walking on the deck of the boat. And yeah, it would have been cool. There would have been, we had barrels all over the place. We had, you know, fishing cages and stuff like that. We were going to put all over the place, and it would have been planking. It would have been really cool. Just a really cool idea for a haunt. So, and nobody would have figured out what it was. You know, they would have been like, until like you've seen the clothes. I was going to custom make all the costumes, so they really would have been scary. They would have been so scary, the costumes for this particular. At Custom Corpses, are there tutorials for these Michael Myers masks? Dude, you gave me an idea. Cool. What did I give you an idea? You can share. I share with everybody here. Share with me. What was your idea? Yeah, see, you just have to be imagine. I'm one of these. I'm still a kid. At 60 years old, I have the mentality of a 10-year-old. And how that's developed is my favorite toy was dirt when I was a kid. And whenever I got toys for Christmas, I played with the box. I never played with the toy. And I was always building stuff. I was always building stuff. I would make buildings. I tried to make plaster of Paris buildings when I was a kid to destroy. You can private message me, Asylum. Just reach out to me on Messenger on Facebook under John Hickman, Hickman, and in parentheses you'll see DJ Styles, and then you can share because if you want to keep your idea to yourself, that's fine. But just reach out I really want to know what your idea is because I'm kind of curious. So reach out to me on Messenger. Okay. Message retracted. Okay, I missed your. Oh well. I missed that message. Are there tutorials? That's right. You did say tutorials on the masks. On how to make. Well, no, I actually just kind of take you through. I do lives. Let me explain something. I am not going to. I've decided against monetizing my channel. So I'm not trying to build an audience for monetization. I'm not trying to make money on my videos. There's tax reasons why I don't want to do this. And I found out through the grapevine that sometimes having a YouTube channel that goes viral can be a bad thing when it comes to taxation. So I've decided, just like a couple other people I know that are on here, I never could figure out why they didn't monetize their channels. Now I know why. And I don't want to say it on here. If you guys want to know about it, you can private message me and I can tell you exactly why a lot of people are turned off with monetization on this channel, on YouTube. And I'm not downing YouTube. I love YouTube. It has nothing to do with YouTube. It has everything to do with the IRS. All right? I'm just going to leave it at that. And that's why I've decided against monetization on YouTube. So... You can do that. Why not? It ties in the whole storyline. So, but I think with the fog, Michael Myers is very difficult to film as it is, just with lighting. Um, so my version of Michael Myers, I would have the eyes glowing red. And I would literally put a filament in front of the eye cuts, completely the whole eye cut, and then have that just lightly glowing red, you know, just lightly glowing red, not bright, not super bright. If you're going to go super bright with your with piercing eyes, then just do eye LED lights in the eyes of the mask, and then you can have a piercing through the fog. But my thing, I would tell you, is I hope you enjoyed it, because the Jason part costume, there's going to be different things that I do. I'm going to make an adult size. That was a kid size costume. But when you're doing costumes, the thing I'm going to insist, if anybody wants me to do them a Jason costume, they have to send me their costume, because I don't want to have to try and make a certain size and then all of a sudden it doesn't fit. What I want you to do is you try everything on, make sure everything fits you perfect. Then you send me the costume and I'll overhaul everything. I'll do the whole thing, even your mask. Pick out your mask, the undergarments, which I would insist now, spandex, not long underwear. But I want a jumpsuit spandex, one bodysuit. So I know it looks creepy, but or freaky, because you're wearing spandex underneath of the main costume, but it's only so you can get that under the. You want that fleshy, you want that rot underneath of the outfit, and you don't want to feel like you're confined. You want to be able to move and not have to worry about the. There was, all right, with the latex on the long johns, it felt like it was sagging too much. It was too much weight. On spandex, it's too tight. It's not gonna do that. And the way I'm gonna do the spandex costume is I'm going to get a mannequin, a male size, like 6 foot mannequin, and I'm going to put that dance skin on the mannequin, then do all the the latexing and the flesh onto the dance skin. This way, when you take it off the mannequin, it will stretch. Once it's completely dry, it'll stretch back out to that full expansion of what the mannequin was, size wise. Because latex will shrink up big time, like 2 inches, and then it makes it really tight to get on and off of you. So if it's in spandex, it'll work better. So yeah, it's just, there's a lot to you learn as you go. You really do. You learn as you go. So, and you don't actually have to have me do it. You can do this costume yourself. I kind of pretty much showed the Jason costume from start to finish, and it was my original idea. I didn't see that from anybody else. It was my original concept. So how I approached making that costume. I'm sure there's probably videos out there on how to do that stuff, but it was also trial and error. There's some things that I did, like my original headpiece that I made. I started with a spandex one, and it was just way too tight on this kid. So I decided against that. And then I tried using a sock mask, and I used latex caulk. And that didn't pan out too well because it didn't shrink up. And it just felt really, I don't know, it felt like it would tear. It didn't give me that tightness that I needed on the hoodie, on the headpiece. But in the end, it was still kind of tight on them because the latex shrinks up when you're making a full head latex. So what I have to do is I have to make an armature. All right. And the key is measuring the person's head in every direction. You want to make sure whoever's head you're doing, you want to make it 2 inches bigger than the actual person's head. That's the piece that has to be done on your head. 2 inches in diameter, bigger, 2 inches in every direction, bigger. All right. And that would be your armature. And then you put the hood over the armature. And then you put your latex on it and everything. And then latex shrinks about 2 inches when it shrinks up. So it'll fit you like a glove, all said and done. So there's all these little things that I've learned in that process. So, you know, and just like the spandex on going over top of the costume, if somebody's real big, they send me their spandex and it doesn't quite fit my mannequin, I'm going to pack the mannequin until it is the size of the person. So, well, you rehauled them. Do you like them? Did you see Did you see the Jason Part 7 overhaul of the mask? I was kind of like winging it. I didn't really have a game plan on how to paint that. I was looking at the pictures that I had, and it was actually the pictures I was using in that for that Jason Part 7 was actually a little toy that was probably like this. I didn't realize it was only this big, this toy that I was looking at, this pictures for details. And it was only like it was a little Jason man about that big toy, and it had pretty good detail to it. So I thought, you know what, I can use that just for reference. And that's what I used. And it gave me, other than the mask, I did change the way the mask looked because I didn't like Jason's Part 7 mask. I gave it just a little bit more grime look to it, a little more like, dirt look. You've seen the mask. That's all that matters, as long as you're happy with what you're doing. I mean, that's the thing you have to understand is we are our own worst critics. When you feel like something is not quite good, you know it within you. You know you can do better than that. You can always like, oh, okay, you know what? I got to change the way I'm doing this. That's how this became the way it is, because I just kept saying, this just doesn't look quite right. This doesn't look quite right. And I kept working at it. And then finally, believe it or not, getting that plastic mask, life cast mask of the William Shatner really, really gave me the look. Gave me the secrets that I needed to know. So. So that, I mean, there's a lot to this business. This business here is not an easy business, and we are our worst own critics. Nobody can beat me up worse than myself. Trust me. Somebody could come on there, man, that looks awful. That looks awful, and I'd be going, yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm going to show you these other masks real quick. Hold on. I almost forgot to show you the mask that I was talking about. Well, up here is my first. Actually, no, it wasn't the first one. Hold on, let me go back. I destroyed the original very first one because I hated it. It was so bad, I hated it. So let me do this. All right, let me turn these lights around so they're splashing. Ow, damn. Yeah, there's a lot of static in the air, that's for sure. Let me just turn these lights up so we can get the full effect here. Man, oh man, I'm getting shocked like crazy. Okay, oops, sorry. I had my camera tilted. Okay. This is kind of tough to see. Over here is the urethane master copy. That's going to produce the biggest version of my, that was the original Halloween Kills mask. Hold on, let me move my chair a little bit so I can get there closer. Jesus, man, there's so much stuff in this room, I can't take it. Can't wait till my deck's, or the back deck's done. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit. This is the original Kills mask that I did. All right, that's the Kills that I did. All right, now what I don't like is the way these eye cuts are very flat. See how that's flat? It's not tapered. The scowl is not bumped out far enough. The bridge is not there. It's not. There's just a lot of things that aren't right. The nose is too big. The chin line's a little. It's kind of way off. Yeah, so that's the master copy. I do like the way I ripped that. Did the bullet hole in the cheek. That looked really cool on the actual mask. My brother's got this mask done, and at that time I didn't have a what do you call it? Oh, what am I thinking? At that time we didn't have real good pictures of the Halloween Kills mask, so there was no way. Now this is the H40. Now look how screwed up the eye cuts look. See how flat that looks going across this way? That's how, it was just way wrong. Just didn't look right. There's a lot wrong with this. You know, that's why I'm only keeping it, because it's my original work. You know what I mean? And the very first start of doing this was absolutely horrible. So I didn't even save those sculptures. I don't have the room. That's the problem. Now this was my first attempt at really coming in close to where I am now. This is a master copy of the Halloween 1978. This is the 78 urethane master. Urethane masters are big. They're not. They're what's the right word? They're the actual size of the actual mold, the sculpture. This way, when I make a copy, and I could put the UltraCal 30 over that whole thing, and I'll have the full size, and it'll produce a large. Now this is a latex foam filled, and this one's not a bad mask here. That's actually there's that one. Yeah, there's that one there too. All right, so that's actually the one I like the most out of the two, is this master copy here. And that produced those right there. That produced that one right there. That's what that one is right here. All right, and that's a latex foam filled. And then I make a stone, and I have the molds here. All those molds are here for these masks. Now here is a latex foam filled 40. And I don't know why I have two of those, but I have two of those. And here's another latex of the Kills. All right. Yeah, see the back of it? Custom Corpses, Night Creeper Kills. That's what that. All right, now that's foam. That's foam, and you can see by looking upward on that face that the eye cuts are not. They look awful. They look awful. As far as shape goes, not so much. You see how like this shape is right because it's tapered right. There's just a lot of things that are wrong, you know. And it wasn't until I got this mask here that actually reveals the way the scowl's supposed to be by the profile. Now, if you look at this profile here, from this point from the top of the lip all the way up to the top of the head, my profile on this matches this almost identical. So, I mean, literally almost identical. That's how close I am with it. So let me read your comments because I sat down. All right, so over here, this I bought in 2001. The hair came off because it was a mess. All right, buddy, you have a good night. Myers, the Logger 175. You guys, you have a good night. Thank you for joining me. All right, so yeah, that's the. Oh yeah, there's my very first attempt at Michael Myers right there. That's I still have the master copy there, and that's absolutely horrendous. That is awful. That was a Halloween 2018 attempt, and man, it was awful. So, and then as I progressed, you know, getting closer and closer with everything as I go. But it's just like anything else. It's time, and you have to have the experience. You just got to keep working at it. Steve UK, where are you molding? When am I molding? I'm going to be molding my sculpture after this week. I'm going to wait till after Thanksgiving. Two reasons. It's really cold now. It's, oh man, I got to get out of here. I keep getting shocked. This room's full of static electricity and don't know why. So, yeah. So basically, I'm going to wait till after Thanksgiving. And I'm going to try to do the mold the following weekend. It's also supposed to get warmer. I think next weekend it's supposed to get warmer. We're supposed to get some warmer weather, like another not so much heat wave. We're not going to get 80-degree weather like we did last time, but I think it's like in the 50s and 60s. So that'll be good. I'll be able to mold it in decent weather. Right now it's in the 30s, and I don't feel like getting sick. So guys, now I got 7 people on here. That's crazy. I feel like I should bounce off of here. But I've pretty much done the herring. That's finished. And what in the world? What is he doing? All right. I don't want to show my yard right now. I want to find out why he's rolling around in my yard. I'm getting tired of dealing with this. Tell somebody not to drive back there, and he keeps doing it. All right. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for joining me here on the stream and watching me hair this. Remember, look back at the beginning of this. You'll see me do the hair styling on the Tots Trick or Treat Studios 78. This is the final part to styling the hair, and pretty much done. I think there's 3 videos total overhauling the mask. First part was the paint. Second part was putting the hair on. Third part was styling the hair. So you have a complete, from start to completion, on how I did it in real time. So you can go back and you can do your own mask if you want. You know, it's just a matter of getting the paint scheme right and getting the shading right. Sometimes that's pretty hard to do, but doable. So, or you can send it to me, and I will do you a custom Michael Myers Tots 78 overhaul to give you that cool look. All right, guys, let me jump off of here. Peace, thanks, and I'll see you on the next video. That'll probably be after Thanksgiving. Busy week this week. All right, you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy the holiday, and I'll see you next week for another. I'm going to go watch The Walking Dead, Bo. Or I'm sorry, that wasn't Bo. Yeah, I'm going to go put The Walking Dead on, guys. I can't see without my glasses. Asylum, sorry. I'm going to go watch The Walking Dead. The final episode is tonight. Looking forward to it. All right, peace, guys. Have a good night. Bye.